Hey everybody, welcome to this final bonus week. I didn't plan to have a bonus week, but um, here we are. So we're talking about the butterfly as a sign this week. We talked about rainbows last week, and I made a joke about rainbows and butterflies, right? And rainbow was peace and promise, but the butterfly is actually like transformation. And the butterfly symbolizes this because it's the end of the process of transforming, right? So, really, you have the caterpillar and you have the cocoon, and then you have the butterfly. So, anytime we see a butterfly, we should be thinking about transformation. We should be thinking about change, life, growth. In a weird way, the butterfly is its own type of archetypal symbol because it kind of also symbolizes life and death, right? And growing and dying. It symbolizes the whole process. And the thing that's really cool about the butterfly, and I know I said this is about me, and I'll get there, but the thing that's cool about the process is, as a caterpillar, it's a caterpillar, right? It's going around, chomping on leaves, living its best life, even though it's living kind of like maybe a low life, or maybe it's up in a tree, and who knows where a caterpillar is, right? When it becomes a cocoon, when it becomes a chrysalis, it ends up not being a caterpillar anymore, but also not being a butterfly, right? And it's in this weird in-between stage where, well, it's not actually in between at all. It's just a mess of goop. It ends up being, it loses its DNA completely. It completely turns into this sort of primordial blob. And what happens is that the original caterpillar DNA is under attack by the upcoming new butterfly DNA, and it forms this sort of melting. Honestly, it's like this melting process, and it melts down into nothing really, and it's just sitting in this dark cocoon of mush. And from that, the butterfly is formed. Right. And so then the butterfly, obviously, what it does is once it pops out of its chrysalis, it kind of hangs on to the cocoon for a little bit longer until it's finally ready to detach itself and then fly off, right? So it is absolutely a process. And it is one I think a lot of us can relate to. You know, how many of you feel like you're on the butterfly side of your life? I don't know if it's because I'm turning 32 or if it's because I had a rough 2-3 years where I was in my little cocoon. But I feel like I'm getting to the butterfly stage, right? And that's why I really wanted to talk about butterflies and transformations in this week that's giving you a little bit about me. So let's pause there on the butterfly aspect. Talk a little bit about me. Currently, I am Michelina. Okay, now, I'm always Michelina, not currently. I'm always Michelina. I'm going to be 32, and I am a PhD candidate. I'm a speaker. I'm a teacher. I'm an author. I am a web publisher. I'm an entrepreneur, and I am a life coach. So, many a things, many a hats. I am a pet mom. A lot of pets. You've probably seen them. We've got 2 guinea pigs, we've got a bunny, we've got 3 cats. So don't ask me how I became a mom of 6 animals, but here we are. And so I'm a firstborn daughter. I have 2 siblings, and I have 2 certifications in life coaching. I have 2 master's degrees, one in literature and one in teaching. I have a felony. I have hurt a lot of people. I have loved a lot of people. I have helped a lot of people. I have been a blessing to some people, and I've been a cursing to some people, right? And such is the story of life. And we get to that place of transformation when we really accept all the sides of our personality, all the sides of our story. And I can honestly say it took a while, but I'm there. I'm at the place where I know I always mean well. I know I never want to harm anybody. It doesn't mean that they won't feel harmed or be harmed, but I know that means that I don't want to harm anybody, and I never have wanted to, right? And so my sort of butterfly transformation starts off when I was younger, right? From 0 to 28, I was the caterpillar, and I was doing my best, right? Like we all are. You know, I had some limiting beliefs. I had some bad holding patterns. I was the kind of person who was fiercely independent. Like I was an island unto myself. And I felt that way because people always let me down, and somehow I kind of felt like I could do it by myself better. And that's not true, right? It's not realistic. And then there was also that whole sort of savior mentality, like, let me save everybody. Like I took all the responsibility on myself. Not healthy. And then there was also the not setting great boundaries. Not great. And so there's other good stuff too. I'm just telling you some of my flaws. There was good stuff too, right? Like I wanted to help people. I'm an avid learner. I always have been. Compassionate. You know, I'm athletic. I used to be. I don't know if I still am. Philanthropic. Like there's a lot of great things. You know, always been an animal lover, right? It was people that I had a hard time with. And the funny thing is that people, they don't go away. They're everywhere, right? And I had a really rough high school experience. I had a really rough childhood experience. A lot of rough experiences, which is no different than anybody else, you know? It feels different because it's you, but it's not, you know? And so from 0 to 28, I had developed a whole bunch of very limiting beliefs, and there was a lot that was broken within me. If you asked me, though, I would have said, I got this. I got it all together. No problem. And I thought I faked like I thought I did, right? Maybe I think part of me knew I didn't, but I faked like I fake it till you make it. That was my motto. Fake it till you make it. And I taught 7 years like that, you know, till I finally got it. And then I was like, what's next, you know? And so 2018, my life came to like a screeching halt. Made some bad decisions, bad choices, gave my power away to some people who really didn't deserve it and who I absolutely shouldn't have given it to, got myself in trouble with the law, got myself into a predicament where I was like, what happened? Why is this happening? Who am I? How did this happen? What is going on? I wasn't teaching anymore. My whole life as I had known it had come to a crash around me, and I was in this like very confused space. My future plans had blown up in my face, and everything that I had worked for and everything I had envisioned my life to be was completely gone. And I was at we call that the pit. If anyone's ever been in the pit, you know. I mean, if you've seen The Princess Bride, you know the pit of despair, right? But yeah, no, I was in that pit of despair. And you know what happens when you're in the dark and you're in the pit. There was some struggle. The struggle was real. We'll just put it like that, for PG's sake. And so from 2018 to 2019, it was a 2-year, 48-month long pit, right? It's a long, and I don't mean like a little pit or like I'm a sadness. No. I mean just varying levels of depression. Serious issues, very difficult things that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, which I don't even have a worst enemy, but if I did, I wouldn't wish it on them. I would not wish my journey on anybody else. But suffice it to say that I was in my cocoon from 28 to 30. No, I'm sorry, 29 to 31-ish. 2018, 2019, however old I was. I was in this very dark place, very isolated place, very scary place, and a place where I was completely like disintegrating from my own life, like actually, and my old self. And what I started to do, because what do you do when you're in this dark place? I start to really dig into myself and like figure out who I am without the labels, without the roles, without the expectations, without the titles that are being kind of forced upon me, without people pleasing. Just who am I without that? And it was hard to figure it out, honestly. It's really tough because I had some things happen that were terribly shaking. They shook up my self-concept. They're terribly destructive to my self-concept. That's the word I'm looking for. Destructive. And I had to figure out my self-concept all over again because I had built it on this idea that I never want to hurt anybody and I always want to help everybody. And I realized actually after the fact that that's still true. It's just we have to know what it is to help a person, because a lot of times we think we're helping them, we're actually harming them. And here I was thinking I was helping so many people, but actually what I was doing was making them kind of dependent on me, which isn't good. And it's a trap that a lot, I think, of us fall into in the self-help, in the wellness industry, but in education, in health and fitness. I mean, we want to help, but there's a balance to it, right? So I learned all this the hard way. And I realized while I'm learning about myself and while I'm considering my journey and all these things, I was like, man, we don't teach this stuff. Now, I've been a Christian my whole life. I listened to Joyce Meyer. Like, I had a lot of head knowledge, but I didn't have any heart knowledge. I had a lot of information, but no revelation. And so I knew it all, but I didn't know it all, right? I didn't understand it. I didn't live it. And so after 2019, I'd lived it. And now I got it. Like, I cultivated it in me, right? And so I realized, I was like, one, does everybody have to learn the lesson the hard way, or is it just me? And two, I want to help people never learn this lesson the hard way. I want to help people never know about what this is like, right? If we can learn to be our authentic self before everything that's inauthentic around us like takes over and we lose all of our power, I feel like that'd be really beneficial, right? So I started transitioning to the process of life coaching, because really you can only know there if you go there. Like, you can only really help other people if you've been there yourself. And what I found was actually, right, and this is the process of me becoming that butterfly, that transformed person. But what I found was I've always been a life coach, right? I was just masquerading as an English teacher. But the reason that I was effective with my students is because, like, I cared about them as people, right? Of course, it got me in trouble, but I cared about them as people. And so I started to realize that, you know, unconditional acceptance isn't just for children. It's for everybody. We're all children a little bit. We all have an inner child, you know? We all have a person that stopped growing, you know, emotionally or mentally. And so there's a lot of broken people out there that look fine, like I was. And then I was like, I want to help them. You know, I wish someone would have helped me. And so that's when I started, you know, going through the steps of getting my business, making a business plan, coming up with all this content, I was in business 6 months before I even published a thing, right? And so when I talk about these things on Seasons and Signs, right? Acorn and Oaks, or Flowers and Showers, or Snow and Stars on my podcast, it's because I've lived it and I know it. And I realize that making feeling-based choices is terribly detrimental when you could and should really be making character-based or moral choices, right? And a lot of us we don't know ourselves, right? We're all just walking around not knowing ourselves. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me and my background, right? So I don't know that I'm at that butterfly stage yet, but I do know that it's been a process and it's been a journey. And so it is my hope that what I'm talking about goes out to reach people who do need it and who are hurting and who have been there and who, you know, want to be heard or understood or guided along, I guess, by someone who, hey, I'm not going to judge you because I've been there. And B, hurting people hurt people, right? That's what they say. And so a lot of us are hurting people. And so even though we don't mean it, realize it, we do hurt people. And at the end of the day, everybody needs help. And that was a thing, that's a huge thing for me that has changed. Because before, I really thought I was better off alone. Even though I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be alone. I wanted to have that intimate connection with somebody. Emotionally. Logically, I was like better off alone. Emotionally, I was like, I'd really love to connect with somebody. You know, and so when you feel that way, you end up connecting with people in all the wrong places, right? And so now what's changed is I don't really need anyone to completely understand me, but I do need to let people in and ask for help because we're better together, right? And that's really the message of COVID, right? We're better together. Even though we're all apart, we're better together. And we really are. In the United States, we do a strange thing where we're super individualized, right? We pride ourselves on being independent and individual and in competition with each other. And I've lived that life. It's not great. It's not wonderful, you know? And so that's a little bit about me. It's about my background. So the stuff you're seeing, yeah, I've lived it. And I have, again, the academic expertise too. You know, I'm a researcher. I'm studying authentic leadership. I'm studying work-life balance, right? But I've also transformed into being more authentic. And I have both the academic background and the life experience. The life experience hurts a lot more, but the message does stick a little better. I'll say that. I mean, not that I don't love reading about authentic leadership, but it hits a little differently when you've lived it out, you know? So I hope I was helpful and informative, and do with that what you will. But that's me. And I hope you like the content coming to you. Season 2 is going to be, again, more of the same. I have all the content planned for that. I'm excited. And hopefully it will be helpful to you, because that's why we're here, right? To help people. Helping people help people, I guess. And it's been a pleasure coming to you in this first season. It's exciting to close out 2020. I can't wait to see what 2021 has in store for you, for me, for all of us as a nation and as a world. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday. I didn't take a break because I'm doing this week, so didn't take a break. That's okay though. And last couple things I just want to add. One, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe. Remember, we still have a goal to get to 100 subscribers and get a customized URL. That's still really my goal here. 2, I'm taking pro bono clients for February and March right now. So if that is something you're interested in, you can contact me at seasonsandsigns@gmail.com or at seasonsandsigns on Instagram. And we can talk a little bit about a discovery call, talking about whether you and I will be a good fit, what your goals are, et cetera, et cetera. But take it from someone who's been there. Don't let the overwhelm of your life let you give up your power, because it's not great. And I'm here to help you get your power back, because I've lost my power and it's not fun. So thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next week, and it'll be 2021. Oh my goodness. All right. Bye, guys.